Here's the Deal is brought to you by VEBS, Veteran Essential Business Services. We are your business air support. We have your six. You served your country faithfully. Now it's time to blaze your own path. Here's the Deal is a show for veterans, by veterans, to discuss real-world issues on how to start and run your own business. It's a cross between Dave Ramsey, Maria Bartiromo, and Joe Rogan. This is not academia. It's the truth. Here's the deal. Hey everybody, how's it going? This is your host, Chris Flowers. Here's the deal. I'm proud to announce the partnership between the City of Surprise and the AZ Tech Accelerator, where the show is now coming to you from. City Surprise, known them for years, Julie Neal, the whole economic development team, the mayor. They're great for small business. They really go all out. They actually repurposed their old city hall. They could have sold the property, they could have, leased it out, whatever. But what they did is they repurposed it as an innovation hub for small businesses here in the City of Surprise. They do technology, innovation, collaborative co-workspace. So you have that shared workspace that a lot of people like to use now, rather than leasing, an expensive office space. They also even have small business resource counseling, where I'm a speaker on business lending here quite a bit. And also they have free education webinars. So if you're a small business and you're located near the City of Surprise, maybe you're working from home, kind of outgrowing your space. You want to be around some, maybe some other people, get innovative and collaborative, things like that. Come check out AZ Tech Accelerator. Come talk to Julie Neal. She's the host here. She takes care of it. This is her baby. So come talk to Julie, and you'll find that working with the City Surprise is a great resource for you and your business. Hey everybody, what's going on? This is your host, Chris Flowers of Here's the Deal. And today we are honored to have our special guest, Robert Heidt. He is the president and CEO of the Glendale Chamber of Commerce and the Glendale Military Affairs Committee. So I just want to welcome Rob on. Thanks, Rob, for taking the time, and thank you for your service in the Air Force. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and give us a little background on your military service, and talk to us about the Chamber, buddy.
Awesome. Well, hey, thanks, Chris, for having me as a guest today. As you said, my name is Robert, and yes, I am a veteran of the U.S. Air Force. I was a security police officer, so that's a pretty interesting world, and now gravitated towards the Chamber. So it's kind of interesting that I'm degreed in criminal justice and end up running the Chamber of Commerce, which includes our Military Veteran Affairs Committee.
Well, you and I both shoot some of the same dirt, because I was a cop when I was in the Air Force also.
So yeah, we definitely have probably some similar stories.
A little bit. So when we go ahead and why don't you tell us some of the benefits are of being a member of of any Chamber of Commerce, but let alone especially the Glendale Chamber of Commerce, and what it is that you're doing.
Sure. I think, for anybody who's not familiar with their Chamber of Commerce, I encourage them to reach out to their local Chamber of Commerce and find out what they're doing. You will find most chambers are well seeded into the community. They've been an anchor for, in most cases, probably 100+ years. Long before more sophisticated forms of economic development and community development came along, it was the Chamber of Commerce. The Chamber has been doing this from the inception, from the onset. So each chamber is uniquely different. So there's many chambers around the nation. In the state of Arizona, there's about 60 chambers, and you could have one that is a one-person or a few-person volunteer, all the way up to a chamber that has professional staff. We have 10 folks on our chamber team. And I think the benefit of belonging to the chamber is that when you are investing in your business through the chamber, you're investing in your community. Each day, Chambers of Commerce work on a number of issues, from advocacy, economic development, business retention expansion, business relationships, fostering the connectivity between entrepreneurs to their next client, if you will, connecting nonprofits to newfound donors, board members, connecting education to the business community. So you name it, the chamber is probably engaged in in it in some form or fashion. So really, for the nominal investment it is in chambers, I do believe that it's a wise investment. And in Glendale, after all, how can 1,400 chamber executives, or I'm sorry, business executives, be wrong in making that investment with us?
Absolutely. And I think we got to change the mindset of some people. I believe some people think they're going to join the chamber, just go in there and just sell. But I personally, like I said, yeah, I mean, I like to do business with my other chamber members, but at the same time, I kind of have a little bit maybe different mentality. I'm there to help, maybe, help some of those people, whether it's, through like the volunteer work that we do, or, just, supporting them in an event, or even just, follow them on social media and liking their comments and, things like that. Or, I mean, am I right in the, maybe I think we need to change the mentality of that a little bit, because sometimes it seems like some people come in and it's just like they're there just to pitch, and then they walk out.
It's a good point. And so, I've been doing this 20 years now in the chamber world. So you're right. We will find those businesses, those members, those, entrepreneurs, whoever it may be, that sometimes are more transactional in their approach with the chamber, which means, they're looking for that one-to-one value add, whereas the folks who have more that transformational mindset, they may be looking for that new client, that new customer, but they really come into the chamber positioning themselves as the expert in their industry and what sets them apart from their competition. And they also recognize that while we can't promise them a cash register sale, so to speak, what we do is through all of the opportunities, we provide them to engage, build relationships, because after all, you want to do business with folks that you know and trust.
Exactly.
And so, for many of our members, when they don't necessarily get that one-to-one, I met you and I sold you this bill of goods, or, I connected you as my new client, they also value all of the intangible that we do as a Chamber of Commerce that it's very difficult to put a value on. They understand the ecosystem of a strong local economy and that we work on that every single day. And so sometimes we're helping a business that is really in need, while another business may not need those services from us. But the ecosystem is, once that business is up and off the ground, there's new tax dollars, there's new payroll, there's new jobs, there's new commerce happening. So it's really that ecosystem of understanding the true impact of a chamber when you belong.
No, absolutely. Yeah, I think it's 100% accurate. So tell me a little bit more about the Glendale MAC and what we're doing in the veteran community. I mean, like I said, I know because I'm a member, but I want you to explain that to the listeners out there.
Yeah, you got it. So Military Veteran Affairs Committee has been a long-standing tradition in our chamber for many years, and over the years it had gone through its highs and lows where it was more active and then kind of, on autopilot and that sort of thing. I would think today and for the past few years, our committee has been in high gear, and so it's really thanks to folks like you and many others who volunteer their time and their expertise. We have our mayor involved in this, and he is a strong driving force behind this committee. While he may not be a veteran, he kind of gets an honorary status a little bit with us in the sense
100%.
that
dude
he
is
really
definitely putting into work. I mean, he's 100% behind us.
He does.
He's a patriot for
and,
sure.
He is. And so I think within this committee, they've identified a few key areas. So there's a few programs that the mayor worked to develop, which is this Stand Up for Veterans event, which is about hiring and cleaning up some records and, getting people some services they need and support they need to kind of get back on their feet. So we as a chamber provide the behind-the-scenes support for that within our volunteers or administratively. We also have the Mayor's Big Dog Run, which is a big motorcycle run, which you're familiar with, and essentially all the proceeds from that go to fund military veteran scholarships. And so the Glendale Community College has been a beneficiary for the last few years. And this past year, just before the pandemic, the proceeds totaled $40,000 that we were able to give back to Glendale Community College Veterans Fund. And so as a chamber, we provide the administrative side of that house so that the passion between the volunteers and the mayor and many other, they can do what they do best with that, and then we've got the I's dotted and T's crossed. In addition, we work with a number of other partners because, again, it's all about partnerships. And so the committee has a few dedicated programs, but at the same time, it's also in finding ways that we can partner with others because there's so much need and there's so many people out there doing great things. It's about that collaboration, I think, that really helps to define the committee in its sense.
Yeah, I think it's the one thing. There's a lot of benefits out there that veterans just don't even know about. So like they get kind of drinking through a fire hose, so they can just kind of get isolated. Like okay, here, get that one source of information and then kind of just chop it up from there. I mean, I think it's been a big benefit so far in a lot of different ways. What can you say that? I mean, I know there's obviously, 20 years, you got millions of stories and like that, but is there anything that kind of stands out to you, like some of the things that you're most proud of about like the Chamber and the MAC? Can you give us maybe a little example? I know I said I got 20 years in this, but I mean, maybe there's something that stands out.
So I think on the Chamber side, I've been here coming up on 8 years at the Glendale Chamber, and to have watched our organization grow and blossom and really engage with our community, our business partners, has been really rewarding. The more fruitful it is and the more engagement and the more opportunities that are there, the more synergy that happens to create a strong local economy. So to have gone from an organization that was kind of sitting on idle and, we did some great things, but we weren't really pushing the gas pedal to today. And you've seen, there are days that we're, I don't know how we've got gas in the vehicle to keep it going, but we're on fumes or we're on adrenaline. But nevertheless, on the Chamber side, we've grown to be one of the largest chambers in the state. We're the largest business organization in the West Valley. And so, we've also taken on that approach that we're going to give everything a try. We're not going to be staunchy. We're not going to be bogged down with the bureaucracy. We're going to try it. We're going to go out on a limb and be innovative and continue to challenge ourselves to try something new. So I think that makes me most proud, because chambers sometimes can get pattern-like and you get into a rut, which isn't a bad thing because you're still accomplishing and serving needs, but I think we also have to be cutting edge, and that's something I think I'm proud of with our chamber. For our Military Veteran Affairs Committee, that's our largest committee in the chamber, as you know, and so that committee has never ceased to amaze me. In all the programs that have been done, there have been many ideas and things come down the line, and sometimes I'll sit back and go, oh my gosh, I don't know how we're going to pull this off. And lo and behold, it comes together. And so, but it takes many people, many committed people, volunteers, many partners, and I think that's most mesmerized me because, the mayor, for example, and he currently helps co-chair that committee with me, but, ideas will come up, and sometimes you're sitting there going, holy moly, and, it comes to fruition. And so when you look at the flag incinerator that started, the program back, and, when Wayne Cole was talking about building the flag incinerator, yeah. I had no idea what the final product would be. I thought it was going to be like almost like a grill that was properly done to retire the flags. I wasn't quite sure what it was going to look like. When that pulls up today,
right.
And you see when Wayne Cole, what he and many others, and really he made that big investment in it for
right.
it, but the many other people who volunteered, it's impressive. And so I think the resiliency that this committee has and the determination is just unlike anything. And so that to me would probably stand out the most, because I think, and you're part of it. So when the committee says, hey, we're going to try this, we're going to do it, we all may be scratching our heads or maybe casting a shadow of doubt in the back of our mind going, oh my gosh, how is this going to happen? But in the end, it happens, and it happens on a grand scale. And I think that's what sets this committee apart.
Yeah, I've seen some things happen. It's kind of like, damn, we pulled that off. All right, cool. What's next? What's next? So,
you're not kidding.
Okay, I wanted to get a little insight. Maybe, like I said, I wanted to kind of see what your vision was, kind of going forward in both organizations, because obviously, we're even through COVID, we're still trying to stay connected. We're still doing the breakfast, even if it's on Zoom or things like that, and we're doing after hours on Zoom. I know we're all zoomed out and like that, but we're still, at least, like you said, you got our foot on the pedal. We're not trying to, disengage. If anything, we're trying to engage and get innovative and adapt, overcome an environment, things like that. So, but what is what do you see post, COVID apocalypse here? Like, what's your vision going forward, maybe for the chamber and for the MAC?
So for the chamber, what I will say is this last year has really allowed us an opportunity to get a peek behind the curtain, and when I say that, it's not that we don't know what's going on, but we hit on all cylinders all the time, and so we go, and we never really have a moment to stop, push pause, and really evaluate. And so this last year has given us just a little bit of pause at times. Not that we didn't provide a good quality program of work transitioning to the virtual world, but I think what you're going to see out of the chamber is a little bit more strategy involved in how we embark out of the pandemic. One of the things that we learned is we're great on programs and events, and those are vital and key, that interpersonal relationship and the personal, connecting. But the value of our work and the impact that we have on the business community is profound. And so working to tell the story and working to identify different opportunities with partners will be at the forefront of what we do. We look forward to getting back to that full-fledged in-person event as things open back up and people are more comfortable, because part of it is not just opening the doors to a venue and saying, come one, come all. We also have to recognize there's a lot of different feelings out there related to the pandemic, so we need that consumer confidence to raise, not only with our programs, but throughout supporting all the businesses in the community. So we've got our work cut out for us as a chamber. We'll continue to provide a quality program of work, without a doubt. Flipping gears to the Military Veteran Affairs Committee, I think those folks are very tactical. Coming from military, it's in person. You've got it, boots are on the ground, and so I think it's been kind of probably killing some of the folks because we really haven't been able to engage. The meetings have been virtual, and so I'm excited the fact that as we re-engage that committee, what will come. We have the key programs that we work on today as a committee, but as we reconnect, what impact can we have for the veteran community? What else can we do? The sky is the limit, because if you would have told me a couple years ago some of the things that this committee would be doing, I would have said, okay, that sounds great, because I'm always optimistic. I'm positive in that sense. But in the back of my mind, I would have thought, my gosh, how are we going to pull it together? This committee is tried and true. If they say we've got this, we've got it. I mean, look at to erect the flag on top of Sunburn Mountain was amazing. The team of volunteers, and Jeff Turney led that charge, and from getting the materials up there to the actual day of debut on the final flag, that was a journey. And so this committee as a whole, when they put their mind to something, they're very determined. So I imagine when we reconvene and we talk about, okay, here's what we do versus what we'd like to do, there's going to be some good ideas and some good conversation to come from that. So I think all I could say is watch out, because that's one committee that is definitely full of movers and shakers.
Yeah, we don't play, like I said, we take the ground. So I know we had, even though, like I said, with the whole COVID thing, that Luke shootout we did the other day, I think that was a really good turnout. I think a lot of people had a really good time, and of course the vendors or the venue was great. I mean, that Falcon Dunes is always in great shape and things like that. So why don't you expound on that a little more too?
So that was actually our first in-person event in more than a year.
Yeah,
so I'll tell you, for several of the folks, they were a little nervous because, again, we kind of all digressed into our own little bubbles, if you will. So it was our first in-person event. It went amazingly well. Everybody understood the protocols and rules. We partnered with Falcon Dunes, which was great. We were the first organization to ever bring a tournament to Luke Air Force Base. So we've had that tradition in place for more than 40 years now. But the players had a great time. The one unique part is, and Chris, is we love to have our sponsors out on the course. Because it was a federal installation, we couldn't have our sponsors on the course. So we missed that element. However, we were able to book more players than a traditional 144 tournament. And so we had more players than a traditional tournament. We were booked by tea time, and really the feedback we've gotten was, what an amazing day. They love that interactivity on the course with the sponsors. But come September, we'll have another tournament that comes up, and we'll hopefully be able to have sponsors out there. But from a organizational standpoint, we couldn't have asked for a better day, and it was so refreshing and nice to see some of our members, some of their partners and guests that were out there, and everybody was so excited to probably see people beyond their bubbles. So it really, truly was a wonderful day for us. And I know you were out there and helped us out, which was great. So thank you so much for your support out there.
Oh, yeah. No, we had a good time. The weather was perfect, and yeah, it was even just on the putting green doing the putting competition. People were just having a good time, and I think everybody was just so happy to be back out and
and even a few flyovers, which was nice.
Yeah, wasn't that cool? Yeah, that's always the sound of freedom is always welcome, especially with a bunch of military cats. So we're all good about that. So why don't you go ahead and give us the contact information about the chamber and how they can get a peek in on what we've been talking about and possibly even become a member.
Absolutely. So we're always online at glendaleazchamber.org. You can always call the chamber, 623-937-4754. There's a professional staff of 10 down here, so we've got an amazing team in place. And even if someone is not a member of the chamber, we certainly are very welcoming. We welcome someone to come, kick the tires, so to speak, check us out, understand who we are, what we do, and find their place. If they're in business, there's no better place to do business than through the chamber. So, we are here to be a partner and a voice for the business community, and anything we can do to help, we're just a phone call or a quick email away.
Outstanding. So once again, I just wanted to thank you, taking the time to get on the show and tell us a little more about the chamber and the MAC and everything. And of course, thank you for your service to the country. And thanks for enlightening us on what the benefits are of the chamber. Thanks a lot for taking the time.
Thanks, Chris. Appreciate it.
All right, no, we'll see you. We'll see you again at the next event soon.
Thank you, sir.
All right, man. Talk to you soon.
All right.
Bye now. I'd just like to take a second to close out the show like we always do. First of all, I got to give all thanks, honor, and glory to Jesus Christ, my Lord and Savior, because without him, I wouldn't even be on this planet anymore, let alone being able to do this show in the position that I'm in. And, of course, I have to also give thanks and recognition to my wife and my family for just supporting me through all this and standing by me while we're going off on this new venture here. And last but not least, I got to give thanks to my brother Mario Aguirre of Fallen 360, because without him giving me the kick in the ass to get this thing started and working with me, getting me squared away on some equipment and stuff like that, and just always giving me tips and stuff, keep me moving forward. That brother is always going to be my partner in crime, so got to give thanks to him and Crystal. And, of course, to the sponsors, everybody sponsoring the show and keeping this thing afloat. If you hear about our sponsors on the show, please support them, because they're supporting us and keeping everything going. So support the sponsors as well. And we're out. Here's the Deal is proud to present our very first sponsor. It's B&G Chicago Catering. If you're in the mood for fresh, authentic Chicago-style favorites, check out B&G Chicago Catering. Founded by two Marine vets, and no, there's no crayon flavor involved here. B&G Chicago Catering is professional mobile food cart service, well-suited for large crowds and intimate gatherings. Currently serving the Metro Phoenix and Metro Tucson areas. B&G Chicago Catering will drive up to your next event, business storefront, or private party. Chicago classics like Chicago dogs, my personal favorite is the Italian beef, bratwurst, Polish sausage. They got tamales and more. All their food is made to order, hot and fresh, using only Vienna products. B&G Chicago Catering comes fully equipped and takes care of all the cleanup. So if you're looking for a way to give back to your employees and all the efforts they've been putting forth this year, need a last-minute option for a small, intimate birthday party, need to spotlight your storefront reopening, which hopefully they all get there soon, check out B&G Chicago Catering. You can find them at www.bgchicagocatering.com. You can follow them on Instagram at BG Chicago Catering 520. Give them a call at 520-262-7596.